thank you for choosing Middletown, New York, Fei Tian College to attend. You know, this campus, I'm sure many of you know the history of it, learning the history of it, and continues to be an important part of our city. It was a huge generator of employment, of family income, and then the state abandoned it for many, many years. And thanks to these folks on my right and others, the campus is coming back as a beautiful institution of learning, and that's why we're all here today. We're more focused on here in our city. We're 30,000 plus people, 5 square miles. We want people like Fei Tian College to succeed, so we're doing everything we can to work with Dr. Joe and the administration up here to make things work, and we appreciate your feedback. I think Jack is on our committee for development of the Psych Center, former Psych Center property. So your input is important for the community, and we appreciate what you have to say moving forward.
30 years later now, and I know many of you have been to the theater and been part of dancing on the stage or being part of programs at the theater. And, you know, that was all part of the visioning as well. Like, you've got to establish an anchor in your downtown, and that's our anchor. And now, up here, you know, the former campus, Psych Center, which is home to Fei Tian, and I'm lucky to be able to work on this project here and see that revitalization, because, you know, it's transforming this end of town, but also we're connecting it with the entire city.
Former director of our downtown district, John Degnan, who passed away a couple of years ago, he was a big part of it. But the common denominator is we all have a passion for what we're doing. And we have that same passion at this campus, but you folks have the same passion to make this work. And that's why you see what's happening here. And we're so excited about the plans for this campus that I have lunch here a couple times a month. Yeah. By the way, great cooking. But the idea is the communication is important for us. We have the special committee that we're doing to develop this campus, and the connectivity to downtown. We hope to see more and more downtown. We want to see people from downtown coming up here, and that's the purpose of this planning that we're doing here, is to see what we can do to make this campus more exciting. The city now owns what's called the Kleiner building. Where am I? I think it's over this way here. The single-story or two-story building, the more modern building. We're going to be renovating that. It has a gymnasium, has an auditorium. We're hoping to make that part of the school for school usage. We want this school to succeed in many, many ways, probably more so than you do. You can always move on to another school, right? We're going to be here. Right. So we want this thing to succeed. We want it to succeed, and you have all the tools to make it succeed. You have good planning, you have good people, you have good students, and work together, we're going to make it all work. But it all begins with that little structure of local government working with the private sector, and we're doing that with other groups too. And so things are working well. So now, how about questions, Richard?
One other thing before you go further. When Joe mentioned that for years, a lot of people in the city of Middletown worked here. Now my class knows this, because one day recently I started a class in a very weird way, maybe from a teaching standpoint. But if we forget the lessons of the past, we're bound to repeat them, you know, the failures and otherwise. So that day happened to be Joe Caputo's funeral. So I came to class, and you guys don't know this, and I said, I want to talk a little bit first about a gentleman who used to work here at the Psych Center for many, many years. And I said, potentially, if you're going over to Building D, Joe Caputo, whose funeral was that day, he may have worked as a bricklayer helping to maintain that building. And because of the work of people like Joe Caputo, we have, as I remember when we went through some of the buildings here, and the comment was, these buildings have good bones. And Joe Caputo was one of those who helped maintain the bones of the building. So there's a lot of history here, and it's great to see that continuation and the building of the community. So at this point, I'd like to, from a pedagogical standpoint, ask my my students, and or really anyone in the audience, if any of you have any questions for the mayor, the alderman, or our community development director, now would be the time to ask.